His past a soldier, now something divine. Swamp jaws snapping, yet he stands in time. Radiant veins, pulse fiery gold. A glow like no story that's ever been told. Asian glow, lighting up the fight, casting shadows into the endless night. He's a hero born when the moon hangs low. The swamp's demise is his Asian glow.
All right, what's up? We're back. This is our first legit one, guys.
Hey.
All right.
Nick couldn't be here with us during this particular stream. However, well, he decided to leave back a little present for the intro on this one, and it was just a series of memes that made fun of me, so that makes sense.
That never happened.
Okay.
We would never.
Yeah, so. But yeah, welcome back, everybody. While we wait for everybody to pop in and pay attention to a couple of morons talking about certain things, today I'm going to just go ahead and introduce the people that I have with us, right? Again, Nick couldn't be here with us. That sucks. But instead, we have a list of people that have been around me for quite some time. The first one I'm going to introduce is Evan, Libby. Good God, we've known each other for like, what, over a decade now?
Yeah, or I think it's maybe a decade. No, it's over a decade we've known each other. We've been doing classes for just about a decade this year.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Mans was on the ground floor for most things that we developed in the early stages, the endless hours that we would sit there and discuss things like where 12 bullets go, you know. So there's a lot there. ADHD Strategics. This is John. He's a former fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a former fat. We've known each other for quite some time also. He runs the ADHD Strategics channel. So if anyone has heard of the Your Local Cop Probably Sucks series, he actually runs that whole deal. I've been taking classes and that sort of stuff from me for quite some time, but we've just been friends for a while also. And then we have Gio, Mr. Constantly Looking Panicked at all times when he has... Yeah, the second the safeties get snicked off, dude just looks like he's in a panic. But he's been taking classes with us for quite some time too. This is just a group of guys that have done a lot of shooting over their adult lives, learned a lot of stuff, and today we're going to talk about stupid things that we used to believe, with like confidence and stuff too. And as we go through it, if you guys have super chats to whip at us, we'll interrupt what we are talking about to read things out, much like this guy. They both live in Texas.
We both live in Texas. and I'm adopted, so who knows?
It's actually possible.
Yeah, it technically could be possible, yeah.
It could be.
I don't know. I don't know what my dad was doing back in the day.
So there's that. As we group everybody together, we're going to go ahead and lead off with our first subject before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about, and that is your least favorite archetype of gun guy. So I'm certain that you guys have figured out an answer for that because we've had a few minutes to think about it. Why don't we lead off with not me on this one?
I'll go. Evan, you got an idea? I'll go first.
You can go ahead.
Mine, just because lately this has been a recurring thing, is like the not gun store, gun counter guy. Like, for instance, like your Academy gun counter guy that thinks he has good information that all the first time buyers go to because they don't want to go to an actual gun store. almost every time I'm just in the back of the store buying ammo, going, no, wrong, wrong, and I feel like I need to pull people aside and be like, hey, everything they man just said to you is just you can throw that straight in the trash because that's wrong.
Yeah, man, we sell a lot of Crimson Trace optics out of here, man. Like people seem to love them. And their warranty's great.
Warranty's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's. I mean, you can get dumber than that. I think one of the last trips, this guy was telling a customer that the Mossberg Shockwave is basically an illegal SBS, but he's allowed to sell it to him because he has a special license. And I'm like, my guy, it's Academy. No, you don't. Because no, it's not.
Perfect comment with what you just said too, because that guy is for real too, and they're usually one and the same.
Homeboy out here trying to sell exclusivity in a gun shop, like it's like bottle service but legal in a gun shop. Only I can sell you this. Only I can.
Yeah, he told the guy, he's like, yeah, I can sell you this because I have a special license, but definitely have like a lawyer on retainer. It's basically an illegal short barrel shotgun.
Yeah.
And I'm just grabbing my training ammo for the week, and I'm just like, I can't hit him. Like, I'm in public. I can't just walk over and hit him, but damn it.
My least favorite by miles is it's kind of two people wrapped up in one person. It's the pretend tough guy that's like anti-sports, like you're not allowed to like or play sports or watch them ever. And usually that guy wraps up also into the you're not allowed to be smart at the same time. You're just supposed to be like a big tough guy, and that's it. Right. And the anti-sports thing, I don't even understand, because like some of the best people I've ever met in my entire life were competitive, pick a thing first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that guy usually goes hand in hand with the I just see red guy too. Like,
oh yeah, I'll learn karate.
I think everyone's least favorite person too.
I don't need to train. I run on instinct, and I don't need to work to be good at stuff. It's like, my guy, please.
I've seen Steven Seagal movies and I've done Systema. I think I'm all right.
Dude showing up with his fucking yellow glasses. Hold on. These are my shooting glasses that he's just eater. You know.
He's a lawman, you see.
Yeah, he's a lawman.
Oh God, that show was so good. I'm gonna have to go back on
that. Yeah, especially when they murked that dog beating down a gate with a truck.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Gio, you're quiet until you're not.
What's up, man? Let's see. Least favorite gun guy has got to be for me, Miles. I guess we got different names from, but I call him the cardboard collector. The dude that goes to all the trainings just for the certificate. That dude. Guys that you got the little powwows with your buddies, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I trained with him. Oh yeah, I trained with him," and then they're usually like the worst guy in the class, and it's like, what the hell do you do in your off time?
Right. So there was a time that we used to hand out certificates, be like, "Hey, you completed this. We even signed it." That went for a grand total of like 4 sets of classes in total, because that guy appeared, and that guy is exactly everything that you just said. Yeah. All he's there for is the selfie and the cardboard afterwards, and that's it.
And maybe an ammo box autograph.
That's a good
indeed.
Source.
Yeah. 10 out of 10, Doug. Every time. Every single time. By the way, Iron Pig Armament, he makes a lot of custom stuff for people. You should check him out.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, dude. It's it's always the same thought process too, because this guy is just not paying attention to the concepts. He's not paying attention to techniques. This guy never has a notepad, ever. Never has a notepad, and all he's doing is pissing me off because I'm trying to coach guys, and he has 400 stupid questions that had nothing to do with what I was talking about. Right.
Yeah.
So,
And you know for a fact those shits are framed at home, like a diploma.
Oh yeah.
Some shit, like some type of, you know, they're all over the wall. So
big ass love me file.
yeah, exactly.
You know, like he uses these certificates in like his resume when he tries to apply at a Buds or something.
Oh, right next to a flash drive with all of his class photos.
He's gonna go work level 3 security, and he brings that into his job interview. Look at
Oh God.
Yeah.
things I've done.
Yeah, have you heard of? No one has ever heard of the internet, man. No one has ever heard. Internet people are not real, and they're not your friends. So yeah, it's the same deal every time, right? But yeah, so what the fuck? Evan, you can start your answer while I'm reading this.
So my brother-in-law is the exact opposite of this person, but I'm going to tell you about a person, you're going to know what I'm talking about. So you say, hey, listen, you're just getting into this. Here is some real basic good stuff that's reasonably priced that you can get, like police trade-in rifle, police trade-in handgun. Look, here this is fine. And then the worst person is that takes this advice and does the exact opposite of everything you said, and like gets a PSA rifle that's some crazy configuration that doesn't really work for anybody, and then like a dissipator or something like that, or listen. Don't ask for advice if you're going to do the exact opposite of what, like
he sends you a picture on your phone and just.
That's
what is this?
exactly what I told you not to do.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a funny picture you saw on the internet? And you're like, no, it's my new rifle. And you're like, oh my God, man.
And like they usually go either one of two ways, right? They either do that with the PSA and the Taurus, or they go way the opposite direction and send you a picture of like some $6,000 like rifle that like they have no business owning yet.
Yeah,
And it's got every bolt-on doodad you could think of.
Bro, just get something cheap and learn on it and do whatever you need to do. And if you ever want to change it up, do so or whatever. But
Yeah.
like,
An adjunct least favorite guy has a lot of buddies. Okay. He has a lot of buddies. And every time that you start talking about stuff, his CAG buddy, his SEAL buddy, his air controller buddy, whatever that opinion was. And these people never exist.
Ever.
Yeah.
They don't exist. They literally do not. You know. So yeah. Oh well, and more to your point, Evan. Yeah, the assholes.
Yeah. That's a good name for it. That's another good name.
Assholes.
Assholes.
Yeah. You know, they were just asking in the hopes that you would justify or say what they were wanting to get,
Right.
and then
That's
they don't.
totally it. Yeah,
and then they do it anyway.
I have a best friend
because the IO rifle is already bought, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about saying
I bought
more
the
times than
IO
not, they've already bought it.
I already bought it, and I knew, like, I got it, and then I was like, let me do like 4 minutes of research before after I've impulse bought this rifle.
With all of this crap on it.
Yeah, well, after I did it, and I do a little bit of research. Fuck.
Yeah.
Which we've all done that one too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So now that it's been a couple of minutes and everybody has trickled in, let's go ahead and talk about our main topics on the day, right? And this is stupid stuff that we used to believe, and I mean with like confidence. Like you'd go back and forth with people on the internet, And I was about to say dummies, but you were that idiot, unfortunately.
100%.
Right. So we'll lead off with a couple of things, and I will do mine last in each of these. Right. So we'll lead off with stupid things that we used to believe. Leading off with equipment, right? Because as we go, the more important stuff will happen as we go through the show. Because it starts with equipment, then techniques, then mindset / approaches to solving problems. And how you answer these is going to be, well, why did this stupid thing convince you to believe in it, right? What about this stupid thing made sense to you at that time? What in your eyes changed your mind? And finally, how did it impact how you look at problem solving for like solutions and whatnot afterwards? So I will lead this one off with equipment, right? Because that's the most soulless of this whole deal, but it usually is the easiest to answer. So leading off with equipment, and this could be anything, right? So this could be rigs, it could be guns, it could be notions that you had in your head until you experienced it as well, right? So leading this sort of thing off, I guess I'm just going to go in this sort of X pattern, right? I'll lead off with John on this one, because all of us have made enough stupid mistakes to have at least a story or 5. So
yeah, for sure.
Yep.
There's actually a lot I could list on this one, but just because it's most recent in my head, we just got done doing soft skin vehicle, and I, for a long time, had like an AR folder backpack gun that rode around in my trunk. And I had this whole plan that, like, yeah, like shit goes down, I'm gonna bail out, and I'm gonna get to my trunk, and I'm gonna open this bag, and I'm gonna flip this out, and then, like, no, absolutely not. Through all the shit we did for like 3 days a couple weeks ago, that was a notion I got rid of a long time ago because I did take it to the range in time at one day, but going through vehicle a couple weeks ago, it brought that up in my head again, where I was like, wow, I really thought, like, in all the chaos of anything that would happen inside this car, I would have time to just go back there and fiddle around with this stuff. And it's and there was a time like where all of YouTube was all about like AR folders and bailout guns and this and that, and holy crap, dude, like that was never gonna work. I don't know how that caught on. It was just
my favorite part about realizations like that too, because it's a fairly common thing that I see too when we do this class, is the swiftness at which people quit folding their guns when they realize, when the very second I start shooting guys. We're like, we have all of our boys, we're rolling deep, and you're hitting an X pattern now, and now you have to get out in this weird diagonal nonsense in like a coupe or something. And I'm not sure if one or both of you were in that class where I had a Sunfire in it. That was awesome. Oh yeah, sticking 4 guys in a friggin' Sunfire is great.
That's another thing too, is at the time I was driving a 2016 Ford Mustang. Like, you're not getting anywhere out of that car fast ever, no matter what seat you're in. That car sucked.
Yeah, just everybody turns into Morty. It's, oh no, oh geez, and everyone's trying to wiggle their way out of there. So that's a good one. By the way, none of this, aside of the questions themselves, is rehearsed. I don't know what their answers are going to be. They don't know what my answers are going to be. None of that. So
I just want to say on John's deal, I still in my mind every now and again fall for it, where I'm like, bro, what if I built like a 9mm or a 10mm PCC? And I think about it for like 2 days, and I'm like, well, this is how I do it. And I'm like, no, I'm never going to get it out of the trunk in time. There's no way that I'll ever, like, this is ridiculous. This is a waste of money. Don't do it.
Yeah.
That was the thing that originally started tearing it down, right? Because I was super excited about this rig. Like, I had, like, Instagram videos. I'm like, oh, look at my backpack. You'd never know there's a 10.5 in here. Blah, 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 blah. Like, all the old, like, gray man trope videos people used to put up on social media and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I took it to the range one day, and I had the rig in the trunk, and I'm like, "This is gonna be so fast. I'm gonna shoot it with my pistol and bail out and get my gun. And I'm gonna go to work." And it's like beep, and then time a lot, and I was like, "Oh, I am so dead. Like I am super duper dead. Like this was stupid."
And for those that are watching, one of the first things that I say when I teach a class like this is, it is very likely that this is it. The second it starts, it's very likely your lights are getting shut off.
But
That's it. This is a terrible place to be. If this runtime manages to go further than the first quarter second, we have to get out. Get out of the thing. Your friggin' bag gun isn't gonna make it with you, dude. You're just gonna whip yourself out of there, and you're probably gonna leave your pants behind too. So, but yeah, no, that makes that.
Oh, you're screaming, "Why is this happening to me?"
Ah!
this is how naive I was. This car was so old at the time. You still needed like a physical key to get in the trunk. Like I thought that was gonna work out. Like just no, dude. Like
Just soup sap.
Why your car is just
Yeah. Rode around town with that rig for like 6 months.
looking like a fucking lady in a horror movie going through your keys.
They're still in the ignition. Just, oh, jeez.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
ripped
no.
the car
So
key
stupid.
off, like, rip it out the deal.
That's great. Okay, well, that I like that. I like that a lot. What do you got? What do you got, Gio?
Equipment. Man, I'd say one of the I've held on to this for a while I was living in an apartment was shotguns for any type of home defense. It's just shotgun, rifle, any type of rifle is not the answer. Fears of quote over penetration, just pistol was inferior in every way, and I got a shotgun just for that. And in actually learning about this stuff and training, I look back and I'm like, man, the rifle is just so superior in so many different ways. Like what the fuck? Like why did I even think this? To even like kind of use this. So that was mine for equipment. Just the shotgun, the prevalence of the shotgun. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's got its place for sure, but man, the rifle just hits differently.
Yeah, especially and just with the AR-15 or anything in that lighter caliber, it's not even close. Because like you can hand an AR-15 to anyone.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
It's why the adjustable stocks are so dope, because you can shorten that bad boy up, hand to anyone.
Hell yeah.
My wife's got an 11.5.
I've actually gone back and forth on this quite a bit, but I've sort of settled on the home defense answer really is the rifle, mostly because like the number one the answer that I had for the longest time was, just you have like a 10+1 or an 8+1 or whatever capacity that shotgun is, you're fine. Past incredibly inconvenient capacity, this sucker's big, like it's long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas, you have like a 10-4 416D mock-up or whatever, right? Like I can just toss that to somebody and, and that's going to be great, and like Mark 262 is going to mess somebody up, but I'm not going to deal with like double-aught penetration issues. And shotguns are awesome. They're super powerful and they'll remove stuff off of people, but just the flexibility of that rifle because some people are hunker down types because of the life they live. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But I can't be that way because I have alive things and people to get to in the middle of the night. Right. So now I have to have the flexibility of being able to maneuver through a house. And I actually need a shorter gun for that. Right. So the capacity that I would use as the answer on the shotgun is counteracted by that. So no, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I could see where there could be some argument against that, though, just depending on
for sure. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, definitely, especially home. If we're talking specifically home, definitely. I don't think there's any right or wrong, but when it comes to things that shooting stuff one-handed, AR's easy. What you got to hold a kid's hand or something like. What if you got a pump? Like you got to be time out. Hang on, and then go back.
And that's a point to make too, right? It's middle of the night, and let's say my son decided he was going to go grab water or whatever. I don't care, and I have to go get him now, right? And now I got to grab him, and I got to be like, "Why the fuck are you awake this late? There's people in the house, and I'm dragging him through a friggin' hallway or something." Right now, I have to deal with some guy in front of me, and now I got to run him into the earth, and I have just this, right? Because I got a shirt in one hand.
Mm-hmm.
I clearly don't have a gun belt on. I would be stunned if I'm dressed.
Yeah, and like you could do it with a 20-inch AR and a suppressor, and it would still be easier to do than a 12-gauge pump. As far as like the weight goes, like.
And I mean, at our old duplex, I early in my gun adventure or whatever, we went the same route as our old duplex. I was like, well, I'm going to put a 12-gauge downstairs in the closet. It's going to be great if anything happens. We got upstairs and downstairs covered. My wife's like 5 foot even. She has literal almost T-Rex arms. And I was super excited about this Mossberg 500. And she picked it up and she's like, I can't use this. Like, I can't physically hold this. Like, yeah, exactly that. And in an instant, I was like, oh.
Yeah, the second that it's shouldered and cheeked, you see it's like this is going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And part of this travesty is also, it goes back to like the original question with the gun guy you hate, because you always have that asshole who looks to sell the shotgun to the first time buyer, right? They'll say, I'm looking for something, and of course they'll ask, what's your intended purpose? Person will say, home protection and self-protection. They rack it and they say this is the universal language, and everybody understands that sound, and that means get the hell out of my house. And it's
just the sound will scare them off, and you don't even have to aim on this. It's the same guy that thinks every chick needs to carry a 6-shot revolver with a pink grip on it.
Or a 5-shot revolver with a pink grip.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm gonna interrupt Evan's answer really quick with this guy, because I had in the past thoughts about this comment too, right? Because I believe the group, it's unwise, right? But I believe the group, because I was like, hey, they're super unreliable, stuff breaks, blah blah blah, and I'd seen a couple actually go down and that sort of thing before too, and whatnot, right? But then, you also realize that, like, soldiers will run over ACOGs with trucks, dude. Yeah. They'll find a way to kill objects. And then you started using EOTechs, and like, look, I mean, since the EXPS 3, that's right up there with some of the most reliable optics I've ever seen. I mean, do you guys have differing thoughts? Because I've seen different stuff on different guns.
I've never seen one go down in class.
That's true.
Even the AA battery guys.
Mm-hmm. My dad had an old one, the real long one with the AA batteries where they're back and forth.
Yep.
And eventually that one would blink on and off, but that was really the only issue we ever had with it.
Yeah, doing the old Surefire scout light blinking.
Yeah.
But
I've never used them personally. I've always been an aim point guy, but like Evan said, anytime I've seen them in class, they've been fine.
And I will say, like, anytime that I've either taught or would be in like a night, like a dark time class, right, where everybody's dropping white phos and all that junk, like, we start doing passive, and you see it, and the guy that's next to you is rolling up with an EXPS 3. It's like, this guy's probably going to hit, unless he's like a goober or a weirdo or whatever. It's like, this guy's probably going to hit what he's shooting at, because that is probably the best passive optic I have ever used. Like, period.
Yeah, they do look very nice under nods from what I've seen.
Yeah.
The delamination thing is a constant, right? Because it's a fighter jet HUD on a gun, right?
Yeah.
So the delamination thing is going to happen. It's just when. And thankfully, it takes quite a while. The one that I've got that's riding on a Mod 0 right now, you can see the very edges starting to delam a tick. And I know that's going to be, it's probably going to be at least 2 or 3 more winners before I'm like, that's annoying and all that. But it's also quite a few years old at this point. Right. And I am nice to 0 things. Anything that lasts in my house that I regularly interact with for a couple of years owns its own veterans discount. Right. So there's that answer. So what about your equipment stuff, Evan?
Oh, so like the first 7 years of getting into guns, probably. So like I listened to every gun store guy. I thought the rack and the shotgun was the thing. The first gun I bought was a old Mossberg 500 with like the 8-round tube, like just the whole deal. And then like I didn't understand that there was like build qualities. And so I'd see like the first revolver I ever bought was a Taurus Tracker in 44 Magnum.
Nice.
And I shot it until one day I went to open it to do a reload because I shot it. We had a gun range off every base at Fort Rucker that you could go to. And so I shot 44 specials and if I wanted to clear the range out, I'd touch off a couple magnums. And one day I went to reload and the whole crane assembly just fell out of the gun.
Hell yeah.
I was like, sweet.
Very
and that
cool.
was my first time dealing with customer service. And so it's not great. I didn't keep it long after that. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Like the first semi-auto handgun I bought was another Taurus 1911.
Oh no!
And I should have never, as somebody who didn't have a lot of experience with handguns at the time, like I was too scared to carry it cocked and locked, and so I did condition 2 with the hammer down until one day I put a round through a mattress and learned to never do that again. I'm telling you, the first few years were bad. I made a lot of bad decisions that I was like, and then like, and I was in the military, so it's not like I did it like I learned something in the military that I was in the military. I'd already been to Iraq and was like, I can't wait to buy one of these when I get back to the States. Like, and like the first semi-auto rifle I bought was a Century C93, the HK 93 clone the 5.56 clone. I got the only one that had the proper headspace, but if you pop the mag in and do the HK slap and go hit, and you'd have to slap the bottom of the mag and the bolt would go forward. It was not great. I made a bunch of bad decisions.
Dude's doing the I know my car, but with rifles.
Yeah. I know my car. To get the thing going. Yeah, I is and then I think I showed up for. I think by the time I got to Bonnie's class, that was the other thing I did for a long time. Is I switched handguns about once a year. I get bored with something, I'd switch to something else, and like it. I think when I met Bondi, I was still carrying. What is that? FN. What's the double action 9mm? The FNP. The FN made
the FNX.
Yeah, but a 9mm, not the 45.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We did.
Yeah, it was before. It was before they made the X, right? With the like the ambidextrous magazine releases and stuff.
It was the one that was like a stainless slide with the polymer frame. I ran that through the Alpha class that we did, and it ran. But I was running a can of Brown Bear ammo, and the double action hammer wouldn't set off the round the first time about 40% of the time. So I got really good at double action the whole time. Because I just go double action again and fire it off again. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
What's messed up too is that like you actually handled that thing so well. I'm sitting there like, I kind of like how that works over there. Like.
Yeah, every now and again, your middle digit here would bump that magazine release, and the mag would. That happened twice, and then about, like I said, 40% of the time, it would dead hammer, and I just have to pull it the second time.
Nice, real nice. So, my equipment, stupid things. So, I used to be really, really big on like the marketing ergonomic design kind of stuff. Yeah. How it felt in my hand was a big deal. You gotta control the water holes out here, and which means I have to throw my shoulder into my friggin' cheek. But I mean, like touching yourself this way, right? That was a big one. Part of this too also ropes up into, because I was that asshole that's like, hey, you're a girl, you need a smaller gun because this big old who's a what's it isn't going to fit nice in your hand. And yeah, this is perfect right here. The way this little LCP is going to help you out with, right? It's just going to melt into your hand. It's not like it's going to friggin' house your wrists, and it's not like that front sight post is going to touch your forehead or nothing, because it's still a friggin' normal pistol cartridge in a gun that weighs like 2 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one, right? Because I listened to a lot of that marketing. Fun fact, and this will date everybody here, because you guys remember this. I read a lot of gun magazines, starting with gun magazines, right?
They have such creative titles.
I think I might still have a copy. It's somewhere buried of a copy of Big Bore magazine from like 2005.
Oof.
It's probably gone, but I had it for a long, long time because it had a revolver on the cover that was chambered in 50 Megalodon. Now,
what?
That's not a round I've ever heard of.
50 extinct shark? What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. That was a gun. It was Ruger. Basically, it was a custom shop that took Ruger Super Blackhawks and whatever their longer frame one was for like 357 maximum and 30 carbine, and he would redo them. And it was before 500 Magnum. It was like even a thing, and so it was some wildcat fat boy. It's basically 454 Casull shortened up and but fatter. It was 50 cal. And
all of this sounds awful.
It was terrible. It was a 5-shot revolver and a giant fucking single action gun. And I was like, that's the coolest gun I've ever seen. That's the coolest
So you know what? On that coolest gun I've ever seen, all of you saw the demo video on YouTube of that 50 Beowulf AR annihilating that toilet, and you're like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I want that. Yeah.
If YouTube had been a bigger thing, I would have been in way more debt as a young person.
So one of the biggest scams I ever saw when I first got into guns, we had an outdoor range down south that had a Deagle in 50. And they also had a Smith & Wesson and 500 Magnum on the rental shelf. And their whole deal was like, as most gun ranges, you have to buy our ammo to shoot our rentals. And they would make you buy a whole box of 50 AE to rent the Deagle. And I don't know how much that ammo was just base price, but then mark it up to gun range price. And time after time, you would see college kids take that Deagle out with a brand new box of 50 rounds, and 5 minutes later, bring it back with 48 rounds.
Well, you can see why my first revolver was a 5-shot 44 in essentially an L frame, because I was like, "It's gonna be the coolest thing ever." And it did shoot a fireball this big. out the V ports on the front of it, but it just would rattle apart.
Nice. Hamster, what are you talking about?
On what?
Yeah. Help me, dude. Help me.
That's part of it. Question.
Yeah, it's the first half. Help me. Because
$2 more. Come back.
I see what might be, but I'm still not all the way there, man. I need you to bring me all the way there. Help me out.
Thoughts on that?
It's a concentrated beam of light.
Uses waves in a concentrated pattern.
Typically in green or red. What are we talking about?
He said I linked it. Where, Doug? What are you talking about? I'm invested. What is happening?
Listen, man, the 350, the SIG P 350 or 250 is better than the 320.
I'm trying so hard to figure out
That's their double action only 320, essentially. It was the 320 before the 320.
Does it have a laser on it?
I don't know. I'm just reading something else.
The link
to talk about.
Hey man, the link didn't post. You're like, if you don't want to watch that, the police officer has a visible red laser. You gotta help me. Yeah,
it's a mod.
They're fine, Doug. I'm not the biggest fan ever of Timney, but like they're fine. Just like literally everything. If you put something in your gun, drop safe, test it first. Press on a cruciform, all that jazz. LA County. Okay. Okay. And I'm assuming that this guy has a visible red laser on his handgun, like a daylight laser.
Oh no!
You're not being annoying, dog. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell, like you want. If the question is, what are the thoughts on visible lasers on handguns, right? Please confirm this. If the thoughts are, if you want the thoughts on visible like lasers on handguns, generally speaking, no. Like even if you're trying to use like infrared lasers when you're trying to use them in conjunction with just
superpowers.
Yeah, that right. No, and it's even less of a reason for daylight stuff. The only thing that I can see as a possible use for it is if you are the entry shield guy literally every time. What, you got something?
Yeah, so he said copy and paste the
okay.
Let me move this over. He said copy and paste it, and it's a deal in California. The AI told me it was from July 9th, where Los Angeles County deputies shot and killed a man who was caught stabbing a victim inside a home in California. They forced entry in the house. The suspect was in the hallway on his knees. The suspect was struck by gunfire. I don't see. I mean, it looks like he shot a guy who was stabbing a guy. I don't understand. It's probably a good thing. Like, it's just like
yeah. Okay. And anyhow, I saw this one and I like this one.
Yeah.
Maximum performance. KKM is a little nuts as far as performance is concerned. You're probably gonna have to downspring, but a lot of guns turn into toys when guys use those things. I would question the use case for everything on like a legit rolling special just because of the size of the compensator. But if it's on a 47, which is already Glock 17 sized, I'm likely going to steer you toward a ramjet, mostly because of length issues.
Which one is the 47?
The 47 is the Glock 17 sized one, right? It's the later iteration that's on a Glock 17 size slide. That whole deal. Yeah. So okay, so here's the thing, though, right? So we got the equipment one was pretty easy, right? This one is actually going to take a second to answer, right? Because the big ones are like, what made sense enough for this particular thing to convince you? What about this made sense? What in your eyes changed your mind? And how did it impact you later on for solving problems? Now let's talk about techniques. So like individual self-defense techniques or whatever, right? We can look at most profound or what you believed in that was the most insane. We can do that too, right? Because I got a couple of answers. I got more than one, but we'll lead off with our previous lead off, and that's you, John. What you got?
Mine for this one. This is actually the first thing I wrote down today when I was brainstorming stuff, and I think in retrospect, this was just an excuse not to train, but I used to really, really believe and argue the whole like 3-3-3 rule, like the whole 3 seconds, 3 yards, 3 shots. You're never going to see your sights. You don't need to. And like, I don't know how much range time I spent at 3 yards, just basically mag dumping rounds into trash, like to see how fast I can make it go. Like
at actual spitting distance.
Yeah, actual spitting distance, which I now, we're 26 states in, where most of the time I'm making fun of this on my channel for it. But back in the day,
why did it always stop at 25?
At 25. So the last state was 10. Holy hell. But yeah, no, there was a long time and probably a lot of old videos on a hard drive somewhere of me just drilling the hell out of steel at like 3 to 5 yards, thinking I was hot shit. And
big part of this question though is what convinced you that was the route to go? Like, because obviously we can talk about wastes of time and all that, but what convinced you that I have to train for these 3 yards, Doug?
I mean, for a long time in the early days of like, GunTube or whatever you want to call it. And also, I think there's a lot of like the old AR15.com forums and stuff like that. Like that got pressed a lot. And I think it was also with those guys, it was also an excuse to just kind of not be good at training because there was forums, there was Reddit groups, pick a place on YouTube. They got pushed everywhere when I first got into guns, and it was like old, retired cops and just people claiming to be cops, people claiming to be defensive instructors. Like everywhere I looked when I got into guns, that was getting pushed, and I was like, well, these guys have a channel and a platform. It's got to be true. And then I think my first class with you, when you were talking about the average distance of a Walmart aisle, and I was like, oh, there's a whole world out there.
Yeah, so a lot of guys don't know this because a lot of guys in the chat haven't been in the class and that sort of thing. I ask them, it's like, hey, so I paced this out like a goober. How long is an average super Walmart aisle, right? And then I give them the answer and just, right, because then the realization where it's like you could be halfway down that guy, now you got to handle a problem, right? Never mind all the examples of the many self-defense shoots that were good shoots that were significantly further away than that, right? Mm-hmm. Or something as simple as, the number of times in CCTV footage where a dude is away from the counter a bit, and then you have the guy behind the counter, and that guy gets distracted by something, right? And the second that the bippity bapping starts, this is like a 10-yard shoot now.
Yep.
Right. And I highlighted this guy really fast too, because nope, wrong one. Yeah, like we're doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that's everybody. Now that people have realized, hey, like cameras exist.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The pawn shop killed that for me, working in the pawn business for about 6 years in a very you know, highway centric part of town, there the threat of multiple guys coming through the door was very real because they had caught some dudes across the highway in a car. The cops rolled up on them while they were like pre-gaming to go rob another pawn shop. And they had like vests and rifles. And I was like,
That's
so
scary.
like, yeah. So I was like, nah, I'm not. Then it became, how many guns can I hide in my waistband without anyone noticing? Because I was just gonna New York reload my bitch ass through that thing until I could get to a long gun behind the count, like behind the you know, where the customers can't see.
Because
Fucking revolver guys, man.
No, it wasn't even revolvers. The first one was in a full size M&P, a little M&P, and then a revolver in the pocket.
Well, I mean, because chances are, right, if you happen to be facing the door all day long, because you are, you might happen to see a few photo negatives of you coming through the door.
Right.
Well, I used to sit at the counter where I could use the reflection of the TV to see the parking lot.
Hell yeah.
Just off the X. And it was
Hell
where I started carrying appendix because I could sit right here with the top of the counter right here as I leaned on it. And it's like I have my hand on, you know, 2 semi-autos before I have to go to a reload. Like,
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's good stuff. I like that a lot.
it just would go down like a pirate ship, like Clint Smith talks about. I might die, but it's gonna be fucking loud, bro. Like,
and I will say also around that same time is also when more videos started getting popular, more channels on the internet of like self-defense videos and, you know, security cam footage and stuff like that started popping up. I'm like Evan said, I started watching those too, and after a while it's like, oh, that wasn't 3 yards. That was definitely more than 3 rounds. That definitely lasted way longer than 3 seconds. Like that was scary.
Oh my god, that guy is in slide lock. You know?
Yeah.
And those
No,
guys
100%.
have, like, yeah, they're shooting back. They might run. They might.
They might.
But
And out of that slide lock, by the way, no one got hit because, you know,
or they all
because
got
no
hit.
one saw their sights.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't.
That dude was ready for 3 yards. He just wasn't ready for 5. You know.
And I'd sit there
Who could have seen this happening?
while we're slow and just all day.
Well, I mean, the scenario that scares me the most is I am just doing nothing in my house. Right.
Yep.
And a team bops in there because it's teams now, right? And you know that's why, you know, a lot of people looked at me weird when I was like, yeah, a warden is absolutely on the home defense rifle, because like if I get the chance to not make this a fist fight, right, I might as well be the most extremely violent thing these guys have ever seen. Right. And that has nothing to do with 3 seconds and 3 yards and 3 rounds. I'm probably going to turn loose like 12, and Mark 262 out of something that loud is going to suck for everybody. Right. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I can't wait for mine, and I hope no one else picked mine up because I have more, but still. Gio, what's up?
I got a couple, so I hope I don't hit them.
Oh, we'll see.
We'll see. There's a couple of I guess they were teaching sayings that were ingrained in me very early on. So I really had to dig into the memory bank here. But the ones that I can remember that I now think like, what the fuck were you talking about? Was the shot should surprise you, right?
Oh,
that was one. Like the shot should surprise you. And it's like, we have a word for that, dog. It's ND. That's what a surprise shot is.
Especially on a pencil, bro.
So just learning that was like, oh yeah, the shot should surprise you. I'm like, oh man, what the fuck was I thinking back then? So
Well, not to high five myself, because I know I say this too, but did you learn that somewhere other than my course structure, or
Nah, that was you. That was
okay,
you.
well,
So-
and for those that are watching, yeah, I say that a lot, and it's funny because he did this too, but now I'm remembering the actual incident block of instruction. But every time I say this, multiple eyebrows cock up when I'm like, yeah, the shot should surprise you. That when a firearm surprises you, that's an ND, dude. And a bunch of people are like, yeah. Oh, this is great. This is so good.
So, I had to travel back in time here.
So good.
Oh, beautiful.
Well done. Well done.
Breathe for a second.
I was told it ended many days ago.
It did not.
Yeah, it ended another dude's sack.
Another one, and they're kind of linked, was slow down and get your hits.
Oh
And,
God.
And that kind of fucked me with the actual technique, which is I ride the trigger from reset to reset. That really harmed me early on. Everything was, ride the trigger, feel that sit slowly, bang, as soon as you hear it, boom, press the shot. And to slow down and get your hits and this whole thing, like accuracy is final, and yeah, that's correct to a degree. But to me, I feel like those statements are excuses for not going fast, for not trying to gain speed. Speed's gained through efficiency, absolutely, but you can only wring so much speed from that. At some point, you got to move fast. These have got to move. This has got to move. So the trigger to reset really, it was very difficult to stop doing that and to just let it go and press it back all the way. So to slow down and get your hits, this really actually pisses me off especially when it comes from an instructor, because when you look at the actual shooting with a pistol, right? The draw, the presentation, the sight alignment, sight picture, trigger press, all that jazz, that's the same whether you do it slow or fast. The only difference with the fast is the subsequent trigger presses are going to be bang, bang, bang. Okay. If I try to go fast and let's say my shots are kind of opening up here, and I go to an instructor and say, hey, something's happening here, and their response is, just don't go that fucking fast, man. Like, come on. Like, and that'll be $500. So, it's, what I'm saying? Like, no, for real. So, like, there's something
900
going
now.
wrong.
I was going to say 500 is cheap these days.
Something's going wrong.
I'm charging $500 now.
Yeah. Something's going wrong with the presentation, the grip, the trigger press, that it's only presenting itself when you go fast. So everybody can be if they kind of know what they're doing, can be good shots when they go slow. Everyone can really, well, I mean, most. But when you start going fast and things start falling off the rails, you need to correct that. You need to correct what is falling off the rails. And the answer to that is not slowing down to get the hits and then leave it there with never the intention of trying to go fast again. I hope that made sense, but that's one of these instructors that it drives me bonkers, man.
This is why I highlighted this comment, right? Because the answer always being, and this is my viewpoint on this, obviously, the answer always being, well, just slow down, get your hit. It is the equivalent of this, right? Where,
yeah,
exactly. Right. If you shoot low left, just aim high right. That is essentially that's on the same level, because the slow is smooth, smooth is fast thing. I agree with you 1,000%, because I preached this like a billion times. My favorite adjustment to that saying is take your time as fast as you can, because that encourages you to push that envelope. Right. So no, that's great. I like that one a lot. By the way, are you guys picking up any background noise? Because I'm like every single toenail that from a dog or something that's touching the ground, I feel like the whole world can hear. Are we good?
It's fairly minimal. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's faint. You're good.
Okay, thank you.
To piggyback on that last point too, and Gio will back me up on this being an alumni. Several times in class, I've heard Chris yell at people, "Hey, get your hits." That was never preceded by, "Hey, slow down." It's get your hits, and I need them now. I need them right now because stuff's happening, and that thing over there needs bullets in it. So, and that only comes from pushing past those failure points and figuring out how do I do this right now on demand. And you're never going to get there by slowing it down.
And for those that have not attended class and that sort of thing, the biggest thing that I'm pushing, and one of the reasons why this stream exists right now, honestly, is like we're constantly telling guys like over and over again to you really have to dial in your detection gear, right? You have to be able to notice when things are happening and make the corrections. You gotta let it. I mean, I'm highlighting this comment because you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go, and you gotta make a correction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the slow it down, get your hits, people. Like I've heard that in classes I've taken not all that long ago, honestly, and it just makes you want to hit them because they are trying to make you mediocre. It feels like.
I literally heard it at a USPSA match like a week ago. Like in a competition, slow down, get your hits. I'm like,
slow down, get your hits. Yeah, you're trying to win. Get away from me. Yeah. So I like that one a lot. What you got, Evan? You're muted. Oh. I got you.
I was opening a soda earlier. So as far as training goes, it was actually doing it. That was the first step because I didn't know what I was doing. Like I was doing all sorts of like weaver stances and all sorts of stuff, just mimicking what I saw, but not actually seeking any help. And unfortunately, most of the things I had were, like we talked about earlier, gun magazines and stuff like that. So I just kind of went off that. And of course, that stuff's so old that you just kind of like it's all boomers. So like it's all weaver stance and all that. But then like even when I got in the military, like I'd shot rifles growing up, but never like learned how to, you know what I mean? Like shot 22s and old stuff and different things. But I think the biggest thing is that I've known plenty of guys who that's also their background, and then they show up to a class of any sort of instruction and you realize I have been doing everything wrong this entire time. I've been compensating. I've been wondering why all my guns are zeroed high or low and to the right. I keep wondering why like all my handguns shoot low and to the left. I can't figure it out. And once I got out of that and actually started like listening to people who knew what they were talking about, it got a lot easier. Like, and then I still see it in people like you can't even, if you're trying to like base how you hold a handgun off what you see on the TV, you are going to be miserable. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna wonder why your gun is breaking your thumb all the time. Like you're not gonna like it's. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. We talked about it in a different stream, even with the ping pong paddle slap that I did. I learned that shit watching Mel Gibson do it in a movie and thought it was the coolest goddamn thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I had A2s when I went to basic, so it was even cooler.
Well, it's right. It's right before the line too, where dude's like, "Gentlemen, prepare to defend yourselves." Like,
right, and that's also why I thought carrying hammer down was fine. Sam Elliott did it.
That's fine.
No, It really is like you think you know a thing, and then you spend a shitload of money on said thing, and then you're like, I didn't know what I was talking about for most of that. On the bright side, it got me like really good at shooting double action guns.
Yeah.
Like, but I had the opposite thing with you, Gio. Shooting the reset is not something I ever practiced because I never shot a gun with a real trigger like that had a reset for so long that I carried M&Ps forever, like the Gen 1 M&Ps for a million years. And so like it was always just slapping it or going crazy and then not learning like, oh, I can use my hands to actually control this thing and not just use it to hold on. Hands are not just for holding. They're for holding things right. Like,
and there is a right way to do it, right? Because like there was a long time I thought the trick to shooting faster was just grip the gun harder and pull the trigger faster.
Hold as hard as I can.
Oh yeah, just super all the way to your toes to where every forearm vein is popping out. And you're like, what? Yeah. Why don't this work?
Yeah. Why is the gun shaking all the time? Why can I not shoot 25 yards smaller than this? No matter how many times I go to the range. One of the best tricks I had at one point, I was like, okay, I'm going to go. It was right before, I think this is 2 years before I met Bondi. I worked at a Bass Pro Shop right when I got out of the Army, and I had an old H&R like 9-shot 22 revolver. And it had like, I don't know, an 18-pound double action trigger. And I had cut my finger and was like doing PT with this terrible trigger. And I shot that gun to the front sight fell off because the range was in the shop. So every day after work, you just go and blast through. You know, you just at the time you could still buy a brick of ammo for next to nothing.
$18.
Yeah, or whatever it was.
That even.
And I shot that thing till it literally fell apart. And so I got good at double action, but my problem was when I went to semi-autos, I just started just mashing the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. It's 100.
I've heard that line a bunch.
The top brakes are way cooler. Mine was a side open.
Nice. So this actually leads into mine a bit, right? Because there was a period in time where I was, and Evan knows this because he heard me talk about it a lot. I was all about being like anti-slide lock lever, anti-bolt release, all of that. Like I bent multiple AR charging handles from just jacking that friggin' thing over and over, right?
And I
now,
distinctly, oh my bad, I'm not gonna get you.
Like this is partially like a mindset thing, but I have a completely different answer for that in the first place. But they are a little related in that it was the guys that had really detailed and intricate answers for why your fine motor skills were not functional, right? When you were under stress, and hearing that term under stress kind of hurts my brain a little bit now, right? It convinced me because, yeah, I'd goof stuff up. You know, I'd goof stuff up. I've made mistakes when I was doing, okay, this guy right here. Bada bing. I hate my old work. I really, really do. I despise my old work, dude. But that's just a fact of the matter, right? Is that, you know, you're getting taught stuff based off of what people suppose, right? And the meta's different now because a lot of guys have looked at it with like books on human psychology and that sort of thing. And a big analogy that was used to try and, displace this was the fighter pilot analogy, you know, where a dude is in an F-16 and this thing is 85% engine. right? And he's having to navigate, touch different things. He's having to communicate with people. He's having to work his HOTAS because a whole bunch of controls are just in the stick, but he also has to control the jet with his other hand. And he still has to deal with all this stuff in like combat, right? You can do it. But then the counter to that obviously was, well, it's just a different practice. No, it's not. It's not a different practice. It is significantly easier, in fact, because I have 2 switches to mess with on whatever gun I've got, right? And then you look into previous after action reports and that sort of stuff. And for instance, like the early days with the AR-15 becoming M16. Of all the early complaints, whether or not they were justified because of various shenanigans in place, the number one thing that nobody ever complained about was that friggin' ping pong paddle. Nobody complained about that. So then you start looking into it, right? And then you start dealing with the same stuff. And then the conclusion to all of that really is you can mess anything up if you suck. You can mess anything up if you suck. Because like over time I started to notice, guys would slip off of slide serrations on handguns too. Or just miss the AR charging handle. Or take 4 hours to put a box in a box on a reload. Right? If you're bad, you can mess up anything. Right? So if you train it out and if you learn it, that is what it is, and if the whole gross and fine motor skills thing was ever true, right? You never get a magazine out of a gun. No one would ever shoot straight. Ever. Because the second you start jacking up that cardio just a little bit, right? No one would ever shoot straight. Ever. So there's a million factual reasons, right, why I was dumb as hell, right? But that's like the big one. That's like a really big one that sticks out for me, because that gross motor skill thing infected everything that I did, and it made me slow and bad. And a lot of people made fun of me, and I fought back, and I had no right to, because I was retarded, right? I had no right saying nothing because I was just dumb, and I was believing a stupid thing. And I should have questioned it earlier and a lot faster, because like my early training days, like I started with good DNA, Magpul Dynamics, Art of the Tactical Carbine 1 and 2. I didn't just watch that on a DVD. I went and I did it, right? That could have just kept going, but now I had to screw it up by thinking that this other nonsense was a good idea, right? And that pisses me off the most, honestly, and people that teach that sort of stuff piss me off even more, because this is factually incorrect information. It just is, right? Because the thousands of hours and whole Connex container worth of bullets I've fired since then, right? That is more and more incorrect as time goes. Right, this is right up there with dudes doing sit-ups and shooting RPKs, and that counts as like training. And later in this video, this dude's going to be swinging a samurai sword. Like, those videos exist, right? And it's the dumbest thing ever.
It's the gun guy equivalent. The martial art equivalent is all that shit from like the 70s, where like the guy would stand there and like 8 dudes would come at him and he'd like flip them like Steven Seagal. And he'd flip them over all effortlessly. And it's all based on them jumping with you and like doing the whole thing. And a lot of the gun stuff was kind of similar. I think it was.
It's like Ip Man housing like 7 dudes with hand wavy stuff, right? Like, that's cool in the shot. But like 7 dudes try to fight you, you're gonna go down. Like, if 2 dudes fight you and one guy just tries to jump on your head,
yeah,
just doing the I'm gonna get housed, but I'm gonna be a koala for 3 seconds. They're giving you the business.
Yeah, it's not gonna attack you one at a time.
Yeah, hey, wait your turn, guys. I saw this once. Yeah, it's just it's McDojo life, but with bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that actually ties into one of my other points I had written down is another thing that I bought into really early is just because someone had like a training company and an internet presence, like they had to be good, right? They wouldn't
Yeah.
be they wouldn't be traveling the country doing this if they weren't good.
Clearly, this
oh,
man has credentials,
Yeah.
right? Clearly,
Yeah,
he has credentials. He's an NRA certified instructor. He has to know what he's freaking doing.
He's got a Florida concealed carry permit.
yeah, yeah. Because at this point, we've all showed up to a class where 15 minutes in, you're like, oh, piss. Like, I just spent $400 to laugh at people. Like, this is.
And as much as I advocate solid training, it doesn't got to be with me, obviously. Go someplace that, dudes are good to go. But once you start that, I think you kind of owe it to yourself to take like a trash class. Like,
You really do. You really do.
Yeah,
I'll say just for even if there's a silver lining on it, at least you know what trash training looks like.
Oh, God. And if you bring a friend and you more or less know this is going to be the Sharknado of gun stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually spent 2 hours today because I was on that. I was like, I haven't taken a dog shit class in a while. Like, let's see what's around here.
yeah. I mean, by just that's correct. Absolutely.
A little bit low, but sure.
And usually your first indication if that dude is leaning really hard on stuff that he used to do 15 years ago. Right.
Or if he's wearing like a plate carrier for a pistol class, because I have seen that. It's like, oh shit, for real? Oh, word, Doc?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but this is why we're making so much fun of it too, right? Because absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. But I mean, this is one of the reasons for this stream and why my YouTube channel exists and all that other stuff is because like I don't care about the internet people, right? Fun fact, this Vortex review for this Defender XL is coming out. It's not going to be good. It's short. This video is short, dude. So tag along with me and laugh because it's going to be bad.
But YouTube told me it was so good, Chris.
Everyone's saying.
Some dude looking at his pistol right now like, oh, shit.
Actually, that ties me into another thing I wrote down on my list. I used to think 1,000 round torture tests were like testing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man, survived the whole 1,000 rounds. Look at that.
And
dyno testing is driving.
Yeah, sure.
It counts as track time.
Now 1,000 rounds is like what, a Saturday?
I am almost there. I'm almost there as a general principle. Almost. Like there's a couple of LPVOs that are okay, but like every time I see a Vortex, I cock an eyebrow at it. Like, why? Why?
Oh, going back to old Chris videos, the fucking, what was it, the Spitfire 2, the fake cog? Fuck you for making me buy that back in the
day. That's Bondi's Mini 14 versus the world. That was
Guilty. Guilty. It's like, this
the dot skews,
when I go from here to here,
sucks.
that's not a problem. Oh no!
Yeah, the dot skews and the battery sucks, and I had to literally hot glue the motherboard back onto the side of it. But
other than all that,
it's fine. Oh,
this dude's on camera with a hot glued together optic on camera, going like, that's still pretty good.
I did have to fix it a bunch.
And my dumb ass is at home like, well, it still works after being hot glued together. It's got to be pretty tough.
I only had to fix it once a bunch of times.
Asshole.
Look, on this guy's question, I don't care what anybody says on the internet, and I definitely don't care what people that don't shoot guns say on the internet, and I don't care that its double action trigger is mostly hogwash. That's a good gun.
Yeah, it'll work. It's just
Yeah.
expensive for a gun that works.
That's a good gun. You have to work with the timing of it because much like most HK products, you don't really get a vote.
Nah.
The gun's going to tell you how you're going to run it. So you have a specific split, and you're not going to go further than that, really. But, well, because there's a friggin' single wide trailer on a pistol frame moving towards your face at all times. But, man, they're friggin' indestructible. They really are. Yeah,
So
no.
I think I have a special spot for that gun because that was actually the second pistol I ever shot when I first got into guns because my roommate carried one. And I mean, at the time, I didn't know what a good gun felt like. I was just told this gun's the shit. I was a new gun guy. I was like, yeah, it is the shit. And it's been many years later, and I'm like, just in my head, that memory can't go away. I'm like, I always liked that gun. It was fun.
Yeah, Rainbow Six, man.
I don't believe this to be shocking. The reason why it's not shocking is $60 magazines. That's why.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is I had what is the VP9, the strike fired gun, and it's great. It's super accurate. It's super shootable. The whole interchangeable grip thing is super cool.
Feels
But
great in the hand.
40, yeah, feels great in the hand.
Feels great.
Trigger's great in the finger. The sights are great on the eyes. But the $45 magazines are not worth it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the 18 rounders are like $80 too.
Yeah, that was just for the regular 15 rounder in a
Yeah,
Glock
the standard,
17 length gun.
So a bunch, and I'm positive that I have not caught a few. Is the answer to your question, right? A bunch, because I hate a lot of my old work, and especially seeing as like I now have like a for real town like standardized process just for doing stuff like handguns, and I'm positive I missed a few. I'm positive that some of you are about to find a few that are hogwash. You might find a Vortex review that's like, hey, that's that thing they were talking about. Yeah. There's a lot of videos on the channel. I probably missed a few. But in any case, okay. So now,
moving on,
skating right on past that, because I'm not embarrassed at all.
Excellent segue.
Yeah, time to embarrass myself some more. Here's the big one, right? This you really got to think about the bullet points to cover, especially on the one in your eyes changed your mind, and how did that impact how you look at problem solving, solutions afterwards. Now let's talk about mindset and approaches to solving problems, because I have believed some stupid things. So by now we know what's up. John, you're on the plate.
So we're talking about mindset.
Yeah.
There's this one actually got gut checked the first time. So for anyone that doesn't know, training with you actually was the first class I ever took, which I think put me on a good path because, like you said, it is better to have good training. Then you can go back and know what bad training looks like rather than the other way around. But that first class in Arkansas, I drove out there thinking, I'm going to take this class. It's going to fix everything I'm bad at with shooting. I'm going to come home, be super badass, tier 1. Like, no. If anything, it pointed out a whole 3 more pages of the list of stuff I didn't even know I was bad at yet. And that's, ever since that day I've approached, I think that's what training should be. Like, if you're really being serious about, training and wanting to get better, you shouldn't really be harping too good on what you're good at. You should be figuring out what you suck at and leaning really hard into it.
I didn't realize I was supposed to go home sad.
Yeah.
I know now. I think just this year, 8 or 9 years later, was the first class I drove home from. I was like, I did pretty good for that last 3 days. That was fun.
I am at the point now because I still go to classes. Like I sneak out and I'll go take a class here and there every once in a while. But I'm at the point now where if I get enough attaboys at a class, I recognize I've just wasted my time.
Oh, 100%.
You know, because the only way I can look at this is through my perspective, right? Because if I see a guy that's doing well, now I'm going to be a huge bastard to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what's required, right? Is okay, he can punch the hole. Great, cool. That hand shot. Something like that, right? Like figure something out, try to find where the weaknesses are, that sort of thing. So that like the attaboys that you could give could be replaced with, hey, let's work on pick the thing. Right. So yeah, I mean, if I go to a class someplace and if I get enough attaboys and that sort of thing, I recognize I'm not being coached. And that's a problem.
Yeah. I just to piggyback off that, if I'm in a class and I don't leave with homework, I question what I just did. That was just a glorified shooting session.
Yeah.
In my sense of thing, like when I drive home from classes, sometimes they're like hours. You know, I usually talk with I usually go with a training buddy and we talk and we're like, man, that was hard. That was difficult. Let's find a way to incorporate that. You know, at the next range day or something. Like I have to leave with homework, something to work on.
Yeah, like if I walk off feeling real good and energized and that sort of thing, I immediately panic and start trying to figure out why that is. Right? What did I just spend my $800 on?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially a range day with cheerleaders.
There's a bunch of those, you know.
Yep.
So
just go to the range with my at-home friends if I wanted to do that. Just pat each other on the back and man, you shot that beer can. You know,
I was just in public with regular dudes in the world, right? Like I've seen the ocean. I am not a big fish. So there's a problem someplace. Somebody's got to find it, and I'm paying this guy to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So, looky here. Model 13.
Look, that's not a terrible option. Not an awful option. If you can get good with a 13, you can go with just about anything. But
that's a pretty solid gateway into like a 686.
Yeah, I mean it's still 357.
Yeah,
it's just got no adjustable sights. But I mean, it's a classic for a reason. Those old K frames, they're fast guns. They're as far as their timing is real quick. You can get nice short triggers in them. They're good guns.
I'll take your money. I'll take your money and be like, yeah, good job. That reload took 6.5 seconds. Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, like,
hey, slow down, man. Slow down.
I will say,
get your hit. Slow down.
Slow down. Take your time.
Slow down, get your hit.
Breathe real good.
Hey,
no, another thing, James, I do want to say, if you still have that gun, I don't know if you still do. The Safariland reload speed loaders are like the best option for any of those K frames. You can only get them in the 6 shotguns. You can't get them in like the 7s and 8s. But the any of the 6 shotguns, you can get the Safariland loaders for it, and they're the best ones, and they're not very expensive.
There you go.
They're just spring loaded, and you just drop it away, and that's it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the $5 though. I appreciate that. Okay, so my big thing, mindset wise, and it took me a little bit to understand this, but the very instant I figured it out, I immediately got incredibly pissed off. And that was, there seemed to be, at least when I was coming up, right? It's not so bad now. Nowhere near as bad now, actually. But when I was coming up, there seemed to be this prevalent thought where if you were into like gun stuff or tactical things or whatever, right? The very instant that you tried to put extra, meaning if anything got a little bit too complicated for some dummy, or if you started adding things for some reason there was like this threshold of adding things to a rifle or a pistol or whatever. The very instant, for instance, that these people would try and figure out that you're trying to be like a smart guy, they would just start dogging you. You know, keep it simple, stupid, right? This whole, and I was a believer in that for quite some time, where it was almost like illegal to be smart and strong and shoot guns at the same time. Right. And everybody sort of giggles because you remember that, to where what if I know how to use a red dot and a magnifier and a bad lever and ambi controls and a flashlight and a lamp all at the same time, and my brain isn't reduced to ash if I do it? The realization that you could be smart and strong and do gun stuff at the same time. This sounds silly, right? Because it is. Because the second that I made that realization, I immediately got pissed off, because the amount of just fuck you that I had in my head from all these folks that tried to preach the same stuff. And everybody understands this too, because it was like this whole atmosphere of douche that was very anti do things that are better than my setup. And that's what I really think that is, right? Because if some guy recognizes that, like the amount of grief that I picked up when I first added a dot, a light, and a compensator to a handgun, the amount of grief I heard, and they would just find all the stupid reasons, like, oh, that's a $1,700 handgun. Like, cool. Am I alive after I use it then?
Yeah.
Like, if I use it, awesome, and I get into a self-defense deal, did I live? Who cares if it goes to the cops for a year?
Yeah.
Who cares? I can buy another one because I'm alive.
100%.
Right?
Or the guys that are like, oh, we need to tame the mighty recoil of 9mm. If I can do it faster, I'm taking it. I want every cheat code I can take.
It's like, hey, listen there, little bitch boy. If you think you need help to tame the recoil of 9mm, but then this same person would also be like, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pay. Which is it?
Well, and
what are you trying to say to me, dude?
I wasn't sold on dots on pistols for a while. Like, I remember Bonnie had already gone to it, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it's batteries and this, that. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to pick up the dot. I don't know. And then I forget which class it was at. I went to one, and somebody just handed me one. And I was like, yeah, I see exactly why people do this. This is the way to do it. This is way better.
Yeah, no shit.
Perfect.
Dude.
Yeah.
Perfect.
See, I actually went the
It reminds me of that guy that
opposite.
pulled up that one time. Is like, I think I have the most expensive truck here.
Oh, y'all 0 and 50 yards? Damn it.
Oh, that's kind of far, isn't it?
No, it's a rifle. No, I actually went like the complete opposite. As soon as I started seeing pistols and cops and stuff on pistols, I was like, I want that. I want that. I like it. I need that, but I am le poor.
Yeah.
Like that instantly became a one-day item for me. And I never went back.
I did comp with iron sights for a long time. Like, just right in that weird middle.
We all did. We all did.
And it's weird too, right? Because like this comment that I got right here, right? Because of this whole atmosphere of just douchery, right? That's like the exact thought. Like I'm attaching all this stuff, and the first round you fire is flat, and you're like, I'm doing something wrong. Like I have cheat codes or something. People are going to call me gay, like.
Then you're like,
Do y'all,
wait,
do y'all remember before like slide mounted dots, they had that like clamshell thing that would go on the bottom rail of a Glock, and then
oh
it
my
had like,
Oh my
and then
god.
like
yeah.
it had a red dot on it. Like we look back and laugh at that, but the
Yeah.
first time I saw that, I was like, you can put a dot on a pistol. Like the only reason I didn't buy that is because I couldn't find a holster for it. Like it's
You know, and
preposterous now, but at the time I was like, red dot on a pistol, like
Coolest thing I've ever seen.
wow, like
I could take over the whole goddamn world with this thing.
Well, and I saw the first time I saw one, it had a suppressor on it, and I was like, that makes perfect sense. The suppressor, like on a pistol, why? Like that makes great sense. But like, I was like, a carry gun, like it's just a 9mm, like it's not a big deal. No, it's legit.
Yeah,
there is that too.
there's that too, right? You know, like it's this whole concept of you're not allowed to be smart and do gun stuff or do tough guy things at the same time. At least to me, this was more or less an excuse to be slow, bad, and dumb at the same time. Because as a note, by the way, I just started to know this. None of these guys could run 5 miles either.
Oh no,
Right?
Yeah.
Like it. What the hell is a 12-mile ruck anymore? Right? None of that occurred to me until an embarrassingly late amount of time. Right. And like, so now, as a note, by the way, it's like, oh, I can be smart. Why am I jacking the charging handle on a friggin' AR like a dumbass? Like all of that stuff just kind of happened at the same time. Right. You know, so then you start to
Want?
I can do what I want.
With
You
a
know.
good foundation. With a good like if you ever like you get tweaks.
Yeah.
well, a lot
It's
of these guys too that said you couldn't hit a ping pong paddle under stress, or some of the same guys that are preaching you have to put the safety on the AR before a reload. I'm like,
but I'm
which
right.
is it?
I'm right.
But-
Like here. Like, yeah,
But
if I
which
gotta
is
move
it?
if I gotta move someplace, yeah, sure, you know, position changes, whatever. Yeah, I got it. But I'm right here, dude.
It's gonna go on with the dust cover. Like I got you.
We absolutely have to hit the small clicky thing, but you're going to be too stressed out to hit the other small clicky thing. Like, just please pick one.
Yeah.
That used to bother me so much.
Yeah, and as an old, by the way, you know, guys that are rolling through on the chat and that kind of stuff. If I don't get to like your question or your comment or whatever, an easy way to get that done is like, you know, the super chats I read all of out loud, right? I'll interrupt what we're doing, but yeah, dude, like, and it's mystifying to me now because considering the standards that I make you guys do, like as a for instance with the student base, and now that we've more or less gone through our main points, we can just talk about the random stuff that sucks that we used to like believe. I used to think that it was okay for there to be a student and an instructor standard of like performance. Right. And now I look at it and it's like that. It's like that meme that gets brought up where it's like, yeah, we taught him wrong on purpose as a joke. You know, where it's none. The objective of the instructor / coach is to make the student base better than they are. All they have to do is work harder than that instructor, which should be difficult, but that's the whole point, right? Like you give them that mindset and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yeah, exactly. Kung Pao, that sort of stuff, right? So it's,
And we have seen it start to happen too. There's been a couple classes where students are, you know, catching up. It's like, oh shit, somebody's been doing their homework.
yeah, you know, where, you know, I have a grading scale. It's not special, right? A lot of guys have grading scales. Actually, the good ones have a grading scale, and they're the only tiers that there ever would be is if you get to a certain point on the grading scale. That's how I modify difficulty personally, where it's like, hey, if you have a point average at 80% or higher of the base, okay, here's how we make it harder, because you're supposed to chase constantly, not stay stagnant, right? And I've had multiple students like nip at my heels. Like if I go to sleep, I've had a couple of guys point me out. Good. You know, because the first time that happened to me, the guy's mad because he's got a staccato and I'm using a Glock. You know, and I'm just like, dude, take the win. Jesus Christ. He's like, no. I'm not doing that. You know, so, and now he's excited that I have a Langdon pistol because he's like, when I beat your ass now, it's legit, you know. And of course, this man wears jorts and is super Asian, and he just wants to come out for the beatings, which is great.
There's nothing wrong with jorts. I will fight that till my dying day.
There's something wrong with jorts if you live in Florida. There's something wrong with jorts if you live in Florida. I don't care who says what.
Nah, they're fine.
How much more flexible I am. Why is white trash about these?
Dude, fuck around and let me find some like denim print Muay Thai shorts. It's over. Like,
Garrett, you showed up right after we quit handing them out. I think maybe the class after we quit handing them out. Sorry, I guess.
Yeah,
they'll be at the next one. Just keep showing up.
Oh God, I forgot about this. Yeah, you're right, Doug. You're right. Firearms and fitness. Oh yeah, no, you're right, dude. I feel bad.
We were just talking about big dot sights a little while ago.
I will say this though, yeah, because we were just talking about it. It's like there is only two different kinds of people that show up with big dots on guns. Guys that are like way better than they have any right to be, because that is the only set of sights they've used for the last like 100,000 rounds. Or every round this guy fires makes me nervous. There's no in between at all.
There's no gray area.
Joey is the first. Joey, I've never seen Joey without a pair of big dot sights. But that guy will kill the shit out of you one-handed while holding a cane.
And falling down.
Hell yeah. But more often than not, that guy is also the exception, because it's usually the latter.
He is the exception.
Oh God, yeah. Well, and it's funny too, because this guy in particular, Joey, right? My favorite memory of this guy is dude got cerebral palsy, right?
Oh
yeah,
no.
he walks around like a giraffe that just got born with a cane.
Fuck. I was going to spray that pepper across my bedroom.
It's a cold steel shillelagh.
So my favorite memory of this guy is, you know, teaching class and that sort of thing, and Evan is standing right there, and some people are getting like upset at me. They're getting upset at me because I'll sit there and be like, God, kick his cane out, and he goes down like a sack of wet bricks, right? And people are getting like upset at me because he's going down on like river rock, like huge pieces of gravel. Like this guy is bandaged up because he's been bleeding for half the day, and people are just upset at me right now.
He told us that he wanted us to do that.
He was sitting there and he had to check some people. He's like, if I could bring my wheelchair down here, I could. So he could just flip me over in it, and then he stands back up. You know, only guy I've ever seen that he's like on the way down. He's like, bow, 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 A's, just for no reason. It's like, good God.
Yeah. He had a stock. He still has a stock 19 with big dots.
Yep.
With X300, and he's had the same gun for 25 years at this point. And
yeah,
dude got robbed one time in a bad neighborhood and flipped out of his fucking wheelchair.
Yep.
He was like, never again.
This this guy actually went to that very class that we're talking about. Okay, all right,
What the fuck is going on over
come back up, I guess.
there?
This guy actually went to that very same class that I'm talking about, and that weather was horrendous. First of all, I showed up in jeans to this thing, and the humidity was so thick that the sunlight was cutting through it, like the rays of sun and stuff, like in tech demos for video games. Like I couldn't see past 75 yards. Yeah, that one. Where I'm like, hey, yeah, we should show up. We should absolutely show up in like polos to look professional, like idiots.
Oh, definitely not an ND.
Yeah,
Definitely not an ND.
I think it would have. Dude just hit his 320 because he's not allowed to carry him in class anymore. Oh, dude, you should go. You should go for sure. Because that December rifle class is in Ohio, and it was intentionally put in Ohio in December because the weather is going to be miserable.
Oh,
yeah,
a bad weather RGT class. That's never happened.
Oh my god, no way! Yeah, like it's one of those classes where, well, this is one of those locations where there is nowhere to hide. The wind is coming, dude, and it's here to stay. Like, I show up and I immediately start scoping out stuff to hold down target stands because it's not going to stand up otherwise if the weather's awesome. So, you guys are going to get cut in half by the cold, but that'll be fine. Here's another one. This is good. I remember when I used to be the guy that would routinely say that there's such a thing, like 300 lumens is the limit. That's what you should carry on a light. That's fine. You can overbright yourself and destroy your own night vision. I was that friggin' person. I'll own it because that was stupid, and I am never going to say that dumb nonsense again. I'm sure there is a too bright limit. We just haven't found it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And then I got a real nice light, and I was like, oh, that's dumb. That's the dumbest thing I've ever.
And like if the
go to one night class, you think that's the thing?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure one of these days a guy will develop a white light that'll set someone's skin on fire, but then that just turns itself into a trend.
Yeah.
Right. Like I want that because
I want that light.
Yeah, the promotion for that is great. The promotion for that is great. Is everyone's pretending to replace the sun with their flashlights? We did.
And you get the tactical sunscreen to counter it.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's like body armor, but it's just like
it's a paste. Yeah.
It's like mirror panels.
It's like, all right, guys, near peer threat time, just like whale semen. You know,
basically a visible LRAD. You're like, stop! And they're like, just start sizzling, looking like vampires and shit.
Yeah. Hey, I will say for the folks watching too, if you haven't taken a class in utterly miserable weather or conditions, you really should. Because everybody's got a plan until Mississippi sand gets in all them gadgets, as a for instance.
100%.
Right?
Hot
or
cold. It just shit either way.
Or Florida sugar sand, or you're sweating so hard that, I don't care how aggressive your grips are, they ain't working no more. And the chalk that you brought is just not cutting it. Or it's so friggin' cold. Yeah, or it's so friggin' cold that I watch people fail to undo sling clasps. That's great. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So
I think that was another era you spoiled me by taking your class first. Is the first time I came back home to Texas and we had a class get like postponed for weather. And I'm like, the fuck you mean weather?
Baseball.
Oh, it's raining outside. You see, I'm like,
well, he said he says this post a class that we took once where we're in Louisiana and a hurricane is a coming, and we kept
the hurricane class. Hell yeah,
yeah, and we kept going. We didn't get near missed. We got hit by a Cat 1, And my favorite memory of that is I'm going over some stuff that we're getting ready to do. Everybody's got stuff in plastic bags. The targets have tarps on them and that sort of stuff. So it's just it's just tarps on target stands, maybe. And while I'm talking about this, a porta-john starts tumbleweeding behind me. And it's flinging stuff all over the place, and I recognize I'm being interrupted by a loud noise, and it's just and it
This
just kept
guy has the gall to be offended. He's like, guys, pay attention.
Hey,
Like,
hey, I'm talking here.
There's nothing strange going on.
I was like, all right, everybody's got it? Good. I turn around, I walk off, and they tell me later on, it's like, my guy, you took like 7 steps and disappeared. Just ninja into the ether. And then we hear from the other side of the sheet of rain, hey, don't everybody move at once. Just why?
there's a good line of guys that's under an awning watching Chris disappear into a waterfall. And we're all going, is he serious? And then we realize we can't see him anymore. I'm like, oh, fuck, we need to go find him. And then, yeah, oh, God, that class was the best, worst class ever.
Oh,
I think there was points where we were just shooting at where targets used to be. It was like, just use your imagination.
What else are you gonna do? I only have white paint for this steel. We can't see anything past like 4 yards. You know. Good
God.
But
God,
yeah,
the drive home from that was great too, because I think I camped out at Brian's house for as long as I could until the hurricane was like 20 miles out of city.
yeah.
And then it was moving west at 60 miles an hour, at which I was driving west at 60 miles an hour for just 11 hours of can't stop, Ray, don't get me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, dude, like, but it's sets of circumstances like that too, right? Where it's dark and it's miserable, or it's like so friggin' hot that I had an assistant instructor once, and Evan, you were here for this. Where he's sitting there like, oh God, something's in my eye. I was in Texas. He's like, something's in my eye. My eyes keep watering. And finally I was like, dude, wear sunglasses. Because the bleached white sand was so bright, it was making his eyes tear up.
Yeah, Del
Right.
Rio, Texas. It was
Yeah.
Oh,
the
yeah.
desert white.
You know, and now it's okay. Now I have a scoring standard. It doesn't change. You know, oh yeah, it's a night vision class. Cool. You better touch off that laser button, dude. You know, it's when you realize that slowest smooth, smoothest fast stuff is really like dumb. It's when you have to realize at that point in time, you have to be like stupidly smart to do this.
Yep.
Right. Because I have so much stuff to think about. And my gun should not be it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I also have to have capability, because if you're not modernized, you die. That's just how it goes in all things, right? Because unless some dude just decides he's going to be a G, nobody is sheathing a friggin' sword and going to Walmart.
You've never been to Texas.
And usually the guys that do, of the few, they also own body pillows.
Oh, 100%.
I am right. So, but yeah, man.
Disney adults.
Yeah, that's the part that blows my mind more than anything else. But you know, and once you realize all that is just different, and you know, you develop and you do what you got to do, you make changes, all that other stuff. It was a really big thing that I learned is the worst about a lot of guys that call themselves instructors is guys that won't evolve. Guys that won't evolve for technology or methods or practices or ways to get the point across. Guys that don't do that I made a realization over time that those are the same people preaching the it's not okay to be smart stuff. So, but with that said, we've gone through our docket for today, and we're right at 2 hours. So I'll say this, guys, it was fun. I laughed a bunch.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
do this more.
I appreciate you guys for coming out and watching all this nonsense. What I'll bring up is we had a thought of doing this once a month. Nothing in particular as far as like exact week that we do this per month, but we're think of a subject so that we can bring a thought process to it and do this about once a month. So more or less, we can start this process mostly because I think this is that you get across certain things that are different than me just doing mainline videos and that sort of thing. That, and it's not just me barking at a camera for 5 hours and then chopping it down to 30 minutes. So that, and we get to interact with you guys, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That said, I had a good time. I'm pretty sure that everybody else had a good time. I've been watching this chat the whole time, and I appreciate everybody for coming out. So
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
yeah, man, let's do it again sometime. You guys take care, and you all in the chat take care too. We'll see you later.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.